Hello, welcome back to the Fish Locker Workshop. We're going to be going through my shark traces, what I use and how I make them. To start off with, the trace that I use comes in two parts. First part I'll talk about business end. Contains one of these. It's a Fox and Roll 12-0 Mutsu circle. Now circles are taking off in the shark fishing industry. It's very rarely now will you see people fishing with jays, and it's simply because circles are that good at presenting good hookups, that easy to unhook, and when you crush the barb down like that, when you crush it down with a pair of pliers, you pop out, no bother. First piece, about 5 feet long, like I say, 12-0 Mutsu with a Flemish eye. Then crimp. I'll put some heat shrink on here, and I'll explain about that in a bit. And the end of that, the other end, same again, just a Flemish eye with the crimp and a little bit of heat shrink. This piece is your hook length. The reason it's its own separate piece is not only is this area here most likely going to be the area that shows the damage, because it's closest to the shark's mouth. It'll get chewed up, it'll get kinked. This one here, for instance, there's a perfect example. This is one that I used the other day, and you can see how the shark has kinked the wire up. Now the wire there is still good, you can check it, there's no broken strands, but that's where the damage comes. Now this is American fishing wire, 49 strand wire. I get mine off eBay. You can get it in lengths of, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 metres. It's not very expensive. The second reason why it comes in its own separate part is sometimes if you don't hook the fish straight square in the corner of the mouth, or it will not come out the conventional way, like with a T-bar, pulling it out like that. Sometimes what you can do is if it hooks up and you can't get it out that way, you can push the hook through and slide this trace out of the hole like that. So it saves you from having to cut the hook off. The second part of the trace, the main trace body, incorporates a lead weight. Now this is, I think this is a 4 ounce, but I've got like a 3 ounce, I've got a 5 ounce, I've got a 6 ounce, depending on the tide, depending on the size of the floats, depending on depth what you're fishing at. And on one end of this, I've got a number 6 Cox and Roll ball bearing coast lock. Now I can't remember if these are 180 pound strength or something. I can't remember. I'll put it in a video when I've had a chance to research it. And this piece, I have it between 10 and 15 feet long. 5, 10, yeah, about 12 feet. On one end with a swivel, a Flemish eye to a crimp with a bit of heat shrink, and on the other end another Flemish eye with a crimp, some heat shrink. Now this end here, what I tend to do is from your main leader, I usually run a 100 pound Rovex extra tough. There's other ones you can use, other people use different things. I like a wind on leader, which means that you wind it onto the reel. Some people don't, they like a hand leader, which means that when you reel up to a certain swivel and then you take the rest by hand. I have another number 6 coast lock attached to my leader, and then I can just clip this on. There'll be a float up, and on the bottom of this you just clip your hook length. So open up your coast lock, and there your trace is ready. Now all in all, you've got your, well, I've got 12 foot of main body and I've got 5 foot hook length, so you've got 15 to 17 feet. That might seem like a lot of wire, but when you get one of these 7 or 8 foot sharks, they might have a girth of about 3.5 feet. Well, that's only got to roll up 3 times, 4 times, and you're talking 12 or 15 feet of wire. And believe it or not, as soon as they rub up, that line doesn't take long rubbing up against a shark's skin like that to pop off. The hook lengths, I have them at around about 5 feet. Now, I didn't always used to. I used to have them quite short, around about 2 feet. Same again, same design and everything, but just shorter. And the reason behind that is that when I was connected up to the trace, and this end was attached to a shark, if you can think you've got a swivel here, if I had that in my hand and I wrapped the trace around my hand, that was as close as I wanted to get to the shark to T-bar it off. That was why I had them that length. It wasn't until a recent trip with Kieran Frazee that he showed me that making them longer was beneficial. In that he put on one that was, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 feet long, and then put one of these next to it, put a bait on each, and just kind of moved them. The bait presentation on this, now although this is quite supple wire, it was nowhere near as good as the longer trace. The longer trace, it was more of a natural movement. See, things like that, it's why you need to ask questions. Whenever I go on a charter, doesn't matter if it's fishing for eels, fishing for rays, lures, or it's fishing for sharks, ask questions all the time. These guys, they know things you don't even know you don't know. Like that shorter hook length there. Fantastic. The components that you'll need to make the trace are here. First thing we want to start off with is some of your wire. Right, if you'll notice on the ends, whenever I cut it, I put a little piece of tape. Now I'll show you why. First piece will make the hook length. I've got about 5 feet. Take a piece of electrician's tape and just wrap the tape really tightly around the wire. Now this is where you're going to cut it. Just take your snips like that and cut it over the wire. The reason you do that is because if you don't put any tape on it, when you cut it, it does that. Now that, not only is it incredibly spiky and you will get it in the end of your finger, you can't get a crimp on there, you can't tie a knot in it. That's why you wrap a little bit of tape around it. Right, first piece. Take one of your crimps, slide it through your crimp. Now this is going to be your Flemish eye. Look, all you do is you make a loop, go through it once, go through it twice, and then just tighten down. Now feed your tag end through, tighten down, feed it in, tighten down. All you're doing there is you're tightening that little knot up to like that. Now the beauty of these Flemish eyes is if you're just going to make a loop, just like a simple loop like that, and put a crimp on it, and then clip that to your swivel, it's only going through it once. So all your pressure of your fish is in one place and it will kink it. Whereas your Flemish eye, as you can see, is through twice as strong. Not only that, but these Flemish eyes, the more pressure you put on them, the tighter and tighter and tighter that will become. It will eventually slide right down. And, as I've had happen before, sometimes even if your crimp slips, and this is onto a hook or a swivel, that will tighten down to the point, because of this tag end here, because you've got that little bit extra length, that will tighten down to the point where it ties a knot on a hook. Recently, when I was fishing in the Canaries, and I was fishing for stingrays, bearing in mind those big stingrays, 150 pound stingrays, I actually had one of my crimps fail, and that made enough of a knot on the hook that I managed to land the fish without it coming off. If that had just been a simple loop, it would have just come straight off and I would have lost it. Right, take your crimping pliers, Now these are cup to cup. They go from 2.2 to 0.5 mils. Pick the right size for your crimp. Set it up like that. And then crimp down. Evenly depressing the crimp. There you go, see? Evenly crimped all the way around. So your crimp has gone from looking like that to now looking like that. Now what I'll do is I get a little bit of my heat shrink. Now this stuff, I bought this years ago. It was bought like 2 meters of it for about 50 pence. It's great stuff. All you do is just cut a little section that you want. Slide it up over your crimp and your tag end. In fact, I might make that tag end just a little tiny bit shorter. And all you need to do is just use a little bit of flame. Now if you've seen I'm rotating it, which is getting even heat to it, there, look. Nice and snug and neat. Now, the benefit of this is not only now does the tag end not stick out, so you're not going to snag on it, but also if that tag end was sticking out and a shark rolled up on it, those spiky little bits of wire would stick in the side of the shark and hurt it. On the other end, first bit is your little bit of heat shrink. Then your crimp. And I'm going to put the hook on. So slide your hook in. Like that. Make a loop, go through once, then take the tag end through the eye of the hook, then go through the loop once more time, and there you go. You just tighten it down like before. Now slide your crimp up over your tag end, like that, and crimp down. Now I am going nice and even over the whole crimp. So there you go. Same as before, I'm going to take a little tiny bit of that tag end off. There, look. If you left it like that, that would just cause a snag. Like that. Your trace would constantly be getting folded up. So, I'm going to use a little bit of heat shrink. You don't need to use a flame. You could use an air dryer if you wanted to, but I don't have a hair dryer. I think my wife would start asking questions as well if I said I was going to borrow a hair dryer and take it in the garage with me. There you are, look. Perfect. Now when storing these, all I like to do, just loop them up like that. Now I'll just make up like 5 or 6 of them, because these are the sacrificial part of the trace. These are the ones that you're most likely going to be having to change out. Keep a load in the bag. You see there, that barb's still proud. All you need to do is just give it a little bit of a, there look, just a little bit of a crush. You won't believe how much of a difference that makes. The main body part, like I say, it's around about 12 to 15 feet long. Five, 10. We'll go for 12. Put your little piece of tape over it so that your wire doesn't unravel. Right, first thing, actually, get my heat shrink on there first. I've got heat shrink, crimp, Flemish Eye. This is going to be the top of the trace. This is where it's going to connect to your leader. Now some people in here, they like to put a barrel swivel. I don't feel you need to. Same as before, tighten it down. Leave about ½ inch of tag end. Then your heat shrink. Perfect. First thing you're going to put is your lead. Then your last little piece of heat shrink. This is the end that's going to connect to your hook length. So slide your crimp. Yeah, look, that'll pass through. And onto this end, I'm going to put one of your number 6 coast locks. So make a loop through once, through the eye, and then through a second time, and you just slide it down like that. There you go. Now these traces, although they are relatively simple, they are very strong. Well, this trace here that I showed you earlier on, that's got them little tiny kinks in it, that was the one that I landed a porbeagle shark with yesterday. It was over 100 pounds. And there's I've had plenty of blues up to and over 100 pound ones, and they've never failed yet. Touch wood. Yeah, look. Now that you've got that nice and tight, the last little bits, your heat shrink over the top. There we go. If you haven't got heat shrink, You can use tape, just wrap it up in tape, doesn't matter. It's just keeping that tag end tucked away so it doesn't stick into the fish and it doesn't foul up on your trace. There we are. Got your sliding lead. This attaches to your hook length. This attaches to your leader. I'll put a couple of little bits of videos in here showing the hook, showing the traces in action. There's I'll also try and put one in there, see if I can show you T-bar and one out to show you that the hooks work really well. If you have any comments or if you have any other questions, please drop me a line, give me a comment. In the meantime, I hope this has helped and enjoy yourselves.